Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to be continuing playing Tiny Bunny, episode 3. I'm really excited because Samyun is kind of gone. I want to know how that happened. Look. He's the one who hated Barbarian. You think he did it? I've heard he's a weirdo. I hurriedly rubbed my glasses. The glasses. Samuel was clutching them in his fist while I was getting beaten up. And in just a couple of hours, this lost item was lying on the ledge of my window. It was hard to imagine that Samyun suddenly got guilty conscience and returned my glasses in such a strange way. I was shocked but kept walking toward the classroom, accompanied by nasty whispers all around me. Accompanied. That photo still stood before my eyes. Samyun has gone missing. Samyun is gone. His fat fingers will never get to my throat. His signet ring won't smash into my chin. He'll never humiliate me again. Wasn't that what I wished for? On the other hand, did I really wish Samyun to become a murky stain on the notice board? He was still someone's son or grandson, and he went through the same struggles as me. Did I really wish for my unseen companion to dispatch him in such a brutal fashion? I didn't know the answer, or I was just scared of it. Nonetheless, school still hadn't something nice about it. Polina, the girl with the violin, was like a mountain spring, like well water that you gulp down, pressing your lips against the zinc outer ring of a bucket, and can't even get enough. What if I made her one of the characters in the story I'll draw? The protagonist will save her from terrifying monsters. As soon as I thought of monsters, a bunch of my classmates slid down the rails, smirking like the xenomorphs from the Alien. I immediately felt lever of fear writhen in my stomach. I didn't want to cross paths with Romka and Bisha. Baisha, I don't know how to spell his name. Okay, after what happened yesterday, especially since Samyun suddenly went missing. I entered the classroom and went to the last row. All of the chatter suddenly died down as I walked there in complete silence. It felt like my classmates pushed and poked me with their stares. They carefully observed my every move. They looked at me with a mortifying mix of pity, ridicule, and derision, like a scientist look at an ugly representation of a new-found species of worms. I stared at the desk with a huge pile of library textbooks on top, my fist clenched. It felt like I was the only one who disappeared in that snowy forest, and my desk was finally used for something worthwhile. Samyun's empty chair stood in front of me. The chair that once belonged to Vova was gathering dust somewhere in another classroom. After a moment of hesitation, I sat down at Barbarian's desk, the place where I was supposed to be assigned by Lilia Pavlovna at first. The chatter resumed, as if someone just unpaused a movie. Barbarian's grandma made such a fuss when he didn't return home. First she ran to school, then called the cops. Yes. Katya snuck a cunning glance at me, then leaned to her neighbor and whispered something. Girls from the second row also leaned in. She shared something with them, too. Whispers, nods. I kept catching her stare on myself. Her neighbors stared too. The whole class was watching me. It was like they felt the need to watch me because they were searching for a trace of blood on my fingers. I wanted to defend myself and shout, "Guys, listen, I'm innocent." The delinquents turned around and stared at me in silence. Their looks were dripping with malice. But why? What did I do to them? Their friend went missing, and they're still focused on me? Suddenly, I noticed Basha drilling a hole in my nose with his eyes. It felt like he was about to point his finger at me and shout at the top of his lungs. Everyone, look! Barbarian snatched his glasses yesterday, and now he has them back. Murderer! But he remained silent, as if there was nothing special at all about my glasses. I may be going mad, but I was thinking, Basha knows something. He knows something, but he won't tell me. What? As if looking for protection, I clutched the ruler until my hand hurt. You don't have to be Columbo to solve this. Who held a grudge against Barbarian? Who hit him yesterday, bullied him, and then a metal ruler fell out of my weak fingers. It hit the floor with a jingle, and that made the other kids shudder. Katya bit her tongue and squirmed nervously. Chairs scraped against the floor. My classmates moved away from me, closer to the exit, toward the teacher's desk. I was not the only one to catch wind of that change. Romka and Basha looked around and winced in contempt. Too bad that they weren't afraid of me like everybody else. Shut it. A badge Barbarian just got a wimp from his old hag and run off. They'll find him soon. They'll find him all right. In a ravine with his stomach cut open. I gulped. Oh my god. I imagine Samya on the snowy blanket, his face wide like a fish belly, split down the middle by the crevice of his mouth, snowflakes falling on his glassy eyes and filling up his throat. See, I could almost hear his condensing tone. It's all your fault. But why was Samya the only one get his just dessert from bullying me? Weren't all of them supposed to disappear? Romka, Byasha, Katya, all with every laughing onlooker? Of course, Samyan did me a favor by disappearing. Thanks to him, my classmates now stare at me in awe. But that was only one side of the coin. What if I'll have to repay that favor soon? The door creaked. Polina entered the classroom. I straightened up in a hurry so she wouldn't see me looking like a scared critter. Polina went to her seat without looking at me. The ringer's trill announced the start of the class. All right, stop messing around. Class, stand up. You too, Petrov. Lilia Petrovna went to her desk, followed by a policeman in a uniform. It was the man that visited us just recently, tall, and his stare so sharp you couldn't get cut on it. Hello there, kids. Hi. You can sit down, kids. This is the Senior Lieutenant, Konstantin Vladimirovich Tikhonov. He's going to ask you a couple of questions and give you a small PCA. The class livened up. Talking to a policeman was way better than studying. I, on the other hand, was ready to sit through the hundreds of hours of Russian literature just to escape the lieutenant's oppressive stare. His brown eyes felt around the classroom, looking for me. Hair stood on the back of my neck, and an iceus seal had lodged in my gut. Is it true that Barbarian got killed by a serial killer? Shush, Katerina. Let the adults ask questions here. We're all scared. Maybe the killer is somewhere close. Really looking at me? Why? Maybe there's even sitting among us. No, no, maybe it's you. Maybe it's you. You killed him. Hmm? Her sly stare was directed at me. Tikhonov stepped in between the rows of the desk and started walking at an excruciatingly slow pace, brushing his fingers against the chair he passed by. Some of the students almost broke their necks following his movements. That's how the crowd of commoners would gleefully anticipate a public execution in the Middle Ages. And he just walked, getting closer and closer to me. I gritted my teeth to stop myself from screaming. Calm down, breathe. You didn't kill or kidnap anyone. He already knew the answer to his question, but the policeman still asked in a certain voice. Anton Petrov? Yes. Stand up, Petrov. My muscles turned to stone. I got up and glued myself from the chair. I felt like I could hear all my joints creak in the process. I only wished that Polina wouldn't turn around and see the grimace of horror on my face. If only I could be somewhere far away in the forest, digging myself into a snow pile, rolling up into a ball there. The officer stared at me as if he was about to lock a pair of handcuffs on my wrists. I wonder how cold those bracelets are to the touch. I imagined myself getting jailed and put into a juvenile detention center where tens of Samians would constantly harass me. I don't know anything. I have nothing to do with this. Nobody's accusing you of anything. For now. Oh my god, that scared me for a second. Only then I noticed a file that said Case No in his hand. It was a grey cover made from rough carton. It flopped onto the desk like a guillotine blade that slid down on someone's neck. With a measured motion, Tikhonov opened the file, still studying me with his gaze. I caught a glimpse of documents and photos. They showed prints on the snow. They looked like animal prints. Have you talked to Samuel Berberin before? I only knew him for a week. Everyone knows that Petrov hated him. I turned red. You ugly bitch. I wanted to sink my teeth into Katya's face and chew out her cheek. Instead, I replied with the calmest voice I could muster. We had a fight yesterday, but he started it, so I hit him. How hard did you hit him? Not that hard. I waved my hand individually. Tikhonov looked at my fist as if he was surprised that I managed to hit a big kid from the photo. Surprisingly, Lilia Petrova came to my rescue. Barbarian is a troubled teen, a true pain in the rear. Oh my god. The officer replied with a meaningful nod and fished out a notebook out of the file. Is this yours? I averted my gaze. It was a math notebook with my name on it. My classmates devoured me greedily with their eyes. It felt like even the writers on the portraits squinted at me in suspicion. Wait, is that the notebook that was shoved out of his backpack when they found the mask of the bunny? Because if yes, did he really leave his notebook in the forest and run home without taking it with him? Okay, I guess that's fine. Yes, we found it in the forest, in the area where the tractor driver who was plodding snow there last saw Berberin. I started blinking in bewilderment. Romka re-snatched my school bag. This notebook probably just got lost somewhere in the bushes. The lieutenant knew about the school brawl, but was he aware of the fight in the forest clearing? I had witnessed that. I could testify to Semyon and I walking in different directions after that. I looked toward the boys, hopeful. Romka, who sat behind Tikhonov, put a finger into his lips. And then the officer quickly turned around. He pretended to pick on his nose. The discipline in his signal. Boys like Romka would probably say something like, snitches get stitches in a situation like this. I frantically fixed my glasses. Wait, Semyon took them away yesterday, but now they're... So what were you doing in the forest yesterday, Anton? I got to school for the forest. It could have easily fallen out of my bag. Easily, just like me producing this half-truth. Be careful out there. Before I could realize whether it was a genuine piece of advice or a valiant threat, the teacher said, "Class, the officer will now tell you about some rules you should follow." So the killer doesn't exist? We can't make any of this public for now. Oh my god, I can't with her. She's just such a bitch. I'm sorry. Why? Whether the criminal really exists or not, you should be mindful of your safety. Really, they're talking about, do you have handcuffs on them? Really, they're just whispering to each other, do you have handcuffs? Why? Alright, any questions? I stalked of arms rose from the desk. Okay, so they were telling about, do you have a gun on you? Will there be guards at our school now? The grey file was left lying in front of me. I stared at it, my breathing so raised that I might have looked like someone who just run a 100-meter sprint. Beads of sweat rolled down my back. I looked around the classroom. My classmates were clashing officers' every word. Only Romka was saying something to Byasha. Lilia Petrovna was staring to the window, fighting back yawns. Skip. Oh my god. Oh my god. As soon as I touched the folder, Tikhonov flashed at me with his eyes. My hand instantly moved away, as if that stare actually hurt. Why would you make a screamer like that? The officer just kept staring at me without saying a word, making me squirm under the weight of this uncomfortable silence and sneering look at my classmates. And then he suddenly continued his speech as if nothing ever happened. I think I shouldn't open it again. I'm just gonna skip. The officer finished his lecture and started searching around with his eyes. Finally, he noticed the folder he left on my desk, put it silently under his arm, and went toward the blackboard without looking back. Let me say this again. If you see anyone suspicious in the village, be it near the school or on the forest trail, contact the police immediately. You know our number, right? 02. Thanks for listening, boys and girls. Thank you, Lilia Petrovna. And, we'll find your classmate. Yeah, right? A thought flashed through my mind. Dig through enough ditches and maybe you'll be able to piece him together. Like Legos. My thoughts turned evil for some reason, and I couldn't control them. I tried to switch the lieutenant's speech about suspicious individuals. What if I saw the killer before? What if I was hair's breadth away from them? Suspicious people. How suspicious was the fox girl that wandered in the darkness? A weirdo that always appears out of nowhere and then dissolves into thin air with her riddles and rhymes. Could she really harm the hulking Samyon? Should I tell the officer about her? Wait, what if I get mocked for speaking out? What if they'll start whispering behind my back? Or what's even worse, think that I'm insane? Romka gave me a stern look over the shoulder. I debate someone like him would approve of cooperating with the police. Katya's braid dangled nervously behind the delicate sitting in front of me. My hand was glued to the desk.
До свидания, лейтенант.
Tikhnov was saying goodbye to Lilia Petrovna. He was about to leave. I'll be too late soon. It'll be too late soon. Stay silent. Tell him. Oh my god. I'ma stay silent. No way. I've had enough of humiliation. I'll keep my head down like a bunny. I really want them to be like friends, maybe, because like why tell him if they're just gonna mock him? I locked my fingers and zipped my mouth. The bell rang. Lilia Petrovna passed by without looking my way. Polina left after her. My classmates went silent at the same time, as if someone's muted the sound on a TV. They followed me with their eyes the whole time I was passing between the rows. Judgmental looks. I felt like I was in the scoops of many sniper rifles. I squeezed through the barricade made of desk, looking for Belina. But I stumbled into my new buddies instead. Romka swung up to me. Decide to run us out to the cops? I didn't say anything, but sure as fuck that thought about it, Romka towered over me, breathing out a faint smell of tobacco. You're very wrong if you think that without Samuel you'll have a better time here. We'll make this place hell for you, you got it? No, why? I didn't rat you out. Why would you do that? My head tilted towards from his slap. Really? Okay. I wasn't supposed to find a note stuck to my back during the break. It said, "Kick me." My nightmare cleared, wasn't about to end. Oh, really? I thought they were going to be friends because I wouldn't snitch them. That's sad. It's been 7 days since Lieutenant visited our class. At first glance, everything was still the same. The forest still held out its gnarly claws toward the village, and the wind whipped up while white flags waved from powdery snow every night. When my parents argued in the other room, I would turn up the TV's volume to silence their muffled voices and sit close to Olya. Vova and Samuel's photo were still 2 black spots on the notice board. But something did change. I could see how different the looks of my classmates were. They met me with a new portion of pokes and insults. Contempt, mockery, and loneliness became my faithful companions. But most importantly, a shadow slid across my desk, leaving behind a mysterious note. I glanced into the space between rows, but the messenger was already nowhere to be found. Who sent me this note? What could this carefully ripped out and neatly folded piece of paper be hiding from me? More threats and humiliation? Or... I took the piece of paper and carefully inhaled the wafting aroma. Blackberry. I'll be waiting at the cul-de-sac near the dressing room. Come alone. Oh! Inside was a message in a beautiful handwriting. I'm waiting at the dead end near the dressing room. Come alone. Dead end near the dressing room. Why did I read like dead end near dressing room? Really? Drunk on the sudden call, I immediately started walking, looking over my shoulder from time to time, making sure nobody is following me. Even though I suspected it could be another trap set up by Romka and Biasha, at first, the buzzing thought soon left my mind. The two of them didn't have enough combined brain power to fake Polina's note so carefully. I didn't even notice how I almost broke into a run and jumped up around the corner. As soon as I did that, I rumbled into someone inside the dark nook. Oh, it's Polina! Like a magic bird, a green notebook glided to my feet. Polina puffed her cheeks in excruciating anger. Petrov, have you lost your sight completely? I fixed my glasses. My nearsightedness wasn't that embarrassing anymore. I bent down and picked up the notebook. Sorry, I was in a rush. Were you waiting for me? Did something happen? Polina studied me with her eyes and clicked her tongue. Do you know what you look like, Natasha? Like blues improv. Who's that? What's that? I blinked in bewilderment. What do you mean? I always associate people I know with something. I do that too, but why music? It can be anything other than music. Some people are like guitar solos, some are drums. People like our Lilia Pavlovna are war marches. And you're so thoughtful, so mysterious, sometimes even a bit sad. You're definitely blues. Oh, blues. Okay, got it. And what about the improv part? It's when the listener has no idea where's the melody will go. That tempo, it will adopt. Of course, some of the things Polina said went completely over my head, but I couldn't stop looking at her smile, light like a breeze in May, and her eyes deep and blue. One needs to have experience and taste to recognize the music in you. You're not some pop music. I don't think I ever know what blues is. Polina gasped and frowned, which made her look even more beautiful. Don't say something like that to my face. I'll make sure to give you a cassette. Grandpa used to bring me so much music from the city, jazz, swing, and classical too. He was the one to notice my musical mindset. When I was still very little, I tried recording the sounds of nature on paper, the songs of the rain and the forest. I wish I had ears like yours. I'd love to have your eyes. Really? Eyes? Okay. I tensed up, worried that she was making fun of me, but Polina shook her head. No, I'm serious. You have the eyes of an artist. You're so good at picturing things. I can't do that. Oh my god, really, Katya? Go away, go away. Katya walked past us with her trademark frosty glaze. We drove into the shadows, trying to escape it. You understand why we're hiding here, right? Because of people like her. And what kind of melody is Katya? Polina flashed me a sly smile. The squeaking sound of an unoiled door hangers? Ew! Unoiled door hangers. You know, this nasty discount. I giggled, covering my mouth. Katya didn't hear our whispers, but she suddenly glazed over her shoulder, clearly annoyed. A moment later, she sighed and went her way. Yeah, go away, please. I don't really like her. I remembered about the notebook I was still clutching in my hand. I turned it in my hands. Instead of a subject name, the front side had the name of the owner and two words, friends only. Curiosity killed the cat, you know. I'm sorry, is this a questionnaire? Have you ever filled one? I lied that I had. Really? Don't lie to her. She's a good person. You should not lie to her. In reality, girl classmates from my previous school had never asked me to fill their questionnaires. It was quite upsetting. I mean, it was a girl hobby. You just answer a set of standard questions about your favorite actors and colors, but interesting. Someone with such a notebook was the sign of friendship. And maybe of something even more, something I only had a vague idea about. You can fill in mine if you want. My heartbeat quickened. I do, thank you. Polina giggled. Actually, there are so many secrets there. You'd be better off not knowing what we girls think. She reached for the notebook, playing with me. I tossed my finding into my free hand. Polina tried to intercept my move. Her hair briefly touched my face, tickling my nose with its silky locks. Oh, she's so cute! I sensed an aroma that immediately filled the whole world, fragrant, alluring, lovely. If only I could picture it, steal it for myself. I felt dizzy, but I gathered myself and spoke in a voice reminiscent of Lieutenant Tikhonov. Your questionnaire is an important piece of evidence, so I'm afraid I have to confiscate it for further examination. Lena covered her mouth that rounded in fake horror. And what are you in question of, really, of concerning evidence? We'll decide that in the course of our investigation. I surrounded Mr. Policeman. I surrender. Oh, that's so cute. Just promise you won't read anything. It's full of sensitive information. I'm afraid I'll have to investigate whether someone is in love with Mr. Petrov. Polina burst out laughing and pressed herself against my chest, showering me with the aroma of her hair and her milky skin that looked almost transparent with tiny threads of veins running under it. Her whisper was hot, like a piece of butter sizzling in a pan. Then swear that you will keep this information private. I swear on my police badge. He doesn't have a police badge, so he's okay. And now we need to hurry, Antasha. I took out the notebook during class. No, don't do that. You know, somebody could just take it and read it, like the bullies. Oh, that's so cute. I skimmed through it, reading into other people's preferences. I was quite surprised to discover Romka's jerky handwriting inside. 6B, February, hanging out, buying a BMW. You know, every boy wants a BMW. Don't trust, don't fret, don't ask. DuckTales. DuckTales! His lettering bugged out of cells as if embarrassed by their shapelessness. First may Romka find time for something so silly? I clutched to my fist after I found out that Romka's favorite cartoon is not even Darkwing Duck, but DuckTales. Maybe he has time for this because he likes Polina too. Somewhere in the distance, a teacher was recepting pieces of Andrew's snapper. I paid them no mind. Polina's page was decorated with a flower drawing and clipping from the Cool Girl magazine. To see the world. Oh, that's so cute. Her favorite musician is Schubert. Her favorite friend is her grandpa. Her hobby is not violent like I expected, but a much more mysterious listening. Can such a mundane process really be someone's hobby? I looked at Polina over the heads of other students. She was focused on taking notes. I flipped the pages until I found a blank one and armed myself with a pen. Anton Petrov, Class CB, 6B. I took a long time to decide on my favorite musician until a trappy pop band, Carmen, came to mind with a cool dancer in their music videos. Favorite holiday, this one's easy, New Year's. My hobby is drawing. My dream, going to Disneyland, I guess. My hero, my hand moved on its own, writing Dad, isn't it? I stopped on those two letters. What if those who read this after me will find my answer laughable and stupid? After thinking for a bit, I decided that not everyone should be disclosed on paper. That's how Da turned into Spider-Man. The spelling was wrong, but who cares? Your biggest fear, huh? I immediately wrote losing a person who's dear to me. Your phone number? No secret here. 30395. Really such small phone numbers? Your favorite cartoon? Transformers, really? Your best friend? Olya, isn't it? Your best friend. I read the question out loud. It was easy, but at the same time very important. The answer to that was my sister's name, so I carefully wrote it into the squares. Olya. Olya, I repeated my sister's name while sneaking out of the school. There was a cute freshly drawn dragon in my notebook that I made to please my beloved sister. In this land of darkness and dissent, her support was the only thing that inspired me to keep drawing and stop me from losing hope in humanity. Refreshing frost air made my cheeks turn beet red. It was bright outside, and the sun looked like a whole egg yolk. The road looked as if it was silver, the snow sparkled under the sunlight. I smiled squintily from the blinding whiteness. Who cares if I don't have any true friends anymore? I have something more important, someone who needs my help, who will never betray or hurt me. Family is the most important thing ever. That's what Dad always told me. Hey, what's up with the stupid grin? My numb lips immediately shrunk. Basha was shuffling his feet in the middle of the yard. His boots rustled on the ice. It's not a grin. I turned to go around him, to no avail. Lady Fortune waved me goodbye, disappearing in the early twilight. In a hurry, a little bit. Dad is waiting for me. I'll shoot him a pager message that you're not coming. Pager? Okay, let's see what that means. Pager, a wireless telecom device that requires a display of voice message to send a message to another person's pager. Ah, pager. Okay, got it. My eyes flinched unwittingly, my skin dampened. Let's go. We'll have a small business to discuss. I felt chills run all over my body. I didn't like the sound of that small business. Those words, accompanied by spitting, normally hid very dark deeds underneath them. Strangers that used to call our old apartment used to say, "Get your old man, we have a small business to discuss." Okay, I think we should end here because as I think there's gonna be some mess later, and I'm gonna keep that for the next video. And so subscribe to this channel, comment down below if you like this story or if I should just post another video where I choose other choices. because I have missed a lot by choosing like the bunny mask, even though I could have chosen to just the fuck you symbol. Yeah, so subscribe, like this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.